97% of the wealth. If they're managing that, they're managing and marketing that wealth. If they do what they're going to do, you'll never own a house again. You'll never own it again. So you need to be on that right now. That's another reason why they're not worried about fixing Oak Cliff and fixing Pleasant Grove. Because in a minute, ain't nobody going to own nothing there that ain't already granddaddied in. Meaning, in order to get somewhere, you're going to have to sign a clause that says you're not going to go for ownership, you're not going to go for land rights, and you're not going to do any mineral rights. That's something that they've been trying to get rid of here in Texas for the longest. But old Hot Wheels, a.k.a. Governor Greg Abbott, he been holding it down for the squad and respecting the quote-unquote indigenous air rights, which would be your homestead rights. A lot of that is getting stole through eminent domain so they can make these freeways and make these toll roads and make these megaways. It's deep.
What you just said, right? When it comes to that, the public lands are what they're trying to make it when they're, can you mute your mic? Whoever that is that just came in. The public.
Hi, can you mute your mic?
So the public domain, right? That they're trying to have a conservatorship over with building these highways and things like you're saying. The people in Texas are the one. Why do you keep coming off your mic? You're going to get dropped in a minute. We're trying to speak, sir. Give it a second. You can come up next. So when it comes to that, the people that have the public entitlement from their ancestors, they have to come forward. A lot of people don't understand that they have rights from their ancestors to these lands. Like the brother was just speaking on the indigenous, right? So a lot of us have those public. The public has the titles. You have to go and look up the land patents. When you find the land patent under your ancestry, you can then go after the ancestry rights and you can stop that. You can, these people are only doing these things because they're taking the ability to have to do that under this public so-called governance that they really don't have the right to do. It's just a corporation that is operating and they're doing these things, right? And it's illegal. But when the people come forward with their land patents from their family, they can, and they do have a choice to make when it comes to that.
She's correct. So right now, if you plan on doing it, you got 2 years left before Biden's plan to shut down the BLM actually goes into motion, which would be the Bureau of Land Management. That's what the GLOW records are kept. GLOW records are very important. GLOW records hold everything that's of title and ownership in the lodialism or master certificate of origination, or the MCO. They hold that information, the land and mineral rights here, and you'll come to find that's how a lot of people are finding out if their family is from Africa or not. Because the majority of people who bloodline is from here, you got land that's owed to you, that's owned by you, but was annexed by the United States government using land asset forfeiture methods that were placed during the 1700s when they were trying to acquire land for them to exist. Now, if you were to go to the GLOW records and type in your family's name information by generation, meaning you're going to go generation by generation by generation. If you type them in and you get a ping, open that ping, go ahead and pay the money. It's okay. It's cheap. I think I paid like $49.99. That was for 3 of them. $49.99, right? You'll know how long your family been here. It's going to show you what land they own. They're going to give it to you by coordinates, by plot, and they're going to tell you how long it's been in your family. If you see some shit before the 1600s, be happy. Because one, you wouldn't have that title if you weren't an allodial, meaning that this didn't belong to you in time immemorial and belongs to you through perpetuity. You feel?
Yes.
Number 2, you're going to find that your people always been here. That's some dope shit to learn that while winning. Because a lot of you folks, if you go do it now and you bring it back to the family, you go ahead and build you a trust and label that as your property under the trust. There's a whole little small method to go through. Takes you 6 months, but it's yours scot-free and clear. Guess what happens after that? Some of you niggas own land. There's a Walmart on your land illegally. There's a Walgreens on your land illegally.
Real quick, brother.
You can make them get off.
Master.
Oh, I'm sorry, Miss.
No, you okay, babe? I just spoke with a lady last week, right? She just found her patents. Guess what's on her land? An airport. Do you know the money she about to pull in? An airport is on her land, and she got the patent. Stop playing. You know how many people have airports on their family's land and they're not getting paid for it? You know how many people have this land and they're flying through these are your airwaves because this is your land and your property, everything over there too. So they're going over and through your airways, not paying you because you're not aware of it, because you have not gotten your land officiated. Get your families together, like the brother just explained. I do trust too, just so people know I'm not pitching nothing, but if you need help, I got you. I do trust. So I have been pushing people to do this since last year. Some people don't really understand the aspect of how important it is, but you need to have that. As soon as you get your land patents, you put it right up under your trust. You get everything notarized. You put them on notice, let them know. You'll have the authenticated document because you'll order it. It's very simple. It's not even that hard, and it's not very expensive. It doesn't take that much. You know, this is so important. Getting your land. So imagine if everyone did that. Let's say even half of us that are on here right now, if half of us did that, right? And then we were to acquire the properties from our ancestors, right? Most of these illegal corporations that are doing things on our land would not be permitted to do it because you have the right. And they have to pay you. If they've been on your land for 20 years, 30 years operating, you know how much money they owe you? Whoever been on your land, they've been operating on your land for 100, 200 years. So if any of those companies you can trace back to your land that they were operating through business records, you can even sue them. So you can get paid from people that ain't even been on there. They might have another business, but you got to pay me for the one you had on my land back X, Y, and Z. You know, we need to really be aware of these things. Go ahead, Master.
And so, and she's right, because there's so many brothers and sisters right now that became farmers overnight because they went and took their family land back, and the motherfucker was out there using it to make whole produce for the United States government. They just inherited the business, taking it back. Those people in California with the beach, the Narragansett Indians, which are Aboriginal people, copper-colored skinned individuals over there on the East Coast. They got the casinos from the fake Indians because the fake Indians were on their family's land.
That part.
This is true. My people down in, my bloodline comes from I'm under your wheel. So that's a tribe in Cherokee. I'm Wolf Clan gang, you dig? And they're the kinfolks of the Appalachia, which are the people of the Appalachian Mountain or the Valley of the Apples. These individuals, a lot of them are down here in the Texas area because their blood stretched they far. They migrated before we were moved below the 33rd parallel. So we was down here kicking it with the Mardi Gras Indians, the Chapatula Indians. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go on, Master.
Oh, okay. And so, that's our sister state, Louisiana, like we family. Those people down there didn't even know that the Superdome, they built the Superdome on that's been theirs forever. So when the Katrina shit happened, those individuals should have moved in force and moved to the BLM and took that back. But that's something that we don't know about. But they owe them a lot of money. The city of New Orleans owe those people a lot of money. And if they were to move on it, they would actually take the 9th and the 12th ward back from them folks. They would take those areas. The people in California, the state is named after a sister from South America, Queen Khalifa. People be talking about Africa. No, she was the leader of over 200 tribes, South and Middle America, and their conquest led them up the side. They wasn't doing it for the evil, they was doing it for the real. They got tired of the Spanish people who came back then performing their art of genocide and take over. So they swept their goddamn ass, and they ended up in California, which was one of the last mainstays of those Spaniards, and they stomped them niggas' ass out, so much so that she was the first flag of California. It was Khalifa.
That's right.
Land of the richness. That's who she was. And she brought the righteousness that we talking about right now. About Motherfuckers before her really wasn't thinking about allodialship because we are free people. We allow people to move on the land. You can put your stake here. We ain't tripping. This mama feeds us all. We never started drawing borderline. We didn't do that whole ass shit because you are me and I am you. In la que calakain. So if I eat, you eat. If I live, you live.
That part.
You feel me? We used to work with each other and barter and push products with each other. We didn't need no money. Money didn't exist then because I had a skill you need. You had a skill I need. I be hating when I hear motherfuckers talking about my women don't have to work. They shouldn't have to work. They never work. Bullshit. Go back in the history.
We was the ones that did it.
A pot. No nigga created a statue. The women did. Niggas didn't create wicker baskets and they went to market and they traded. So those women were working, low. Everything to keep the tribe going. That's the tribal mentality. So when we say it's a community effort, how to get your family land back, learning how to operate it. I'm here. I take donations, but I don't charge. And what that means is I'm not gonna give you no set fee. I ain't gonna make you do shit. The fact that you getting your shit back does me something, but niggas done been to church. So they like to throw stuff in the collection plate. I accept that too. But what I want you to do is empower your children. There are codes with the Social Security Office and the United States IRS and our government that discharges the debt that you make up for yourself. You ain't even supposed to be giving these motherfuckers no money. It's already paid. Like your child's lunch is already paid, but you still
come on, master.
To run through the line. Yeah, that shit's already paid through the education tax. You ain't supposed to be giving them no money for lunch, but they fuck us over because we don't know. And they use those forms to get in your fucking business at home. Because once they see you in poverty, once they see you can't move, they gonna send them folks in there for your kids, man. I need you to rebuild power. I need you to rebuild the richness in your spirit. That way you can develop the wealth of tomorrow that's gonna keep us sustained.
That's
and you
right.
can definitely do that through land and through retrieving your asset forfeiture land.
That's right. Real quick on that, brother, what you're saying. And a lot of times what happens is this is foreign information, right? When you think of something being foreign, it's like you don't know anything about it, right? So when people try to explain this aspect to people, they don't really get it. The importance of having a trust, the importance of having a protector around you, which is what the trust is. All these things are pertinent. They're, I mean, there's no way to get around it. Getting your land, making sure that you do your genealogy, tracing your ancestry, making sure you find out who is in your particular genealogy and the bloodlines that occur, because a lot of times you'll find marriage records even where the last name shifted or changed because the conservatorship or changing of the last name with marriage took a lot of the property out of the original people's name. So you might be able to trace it back through a marriage certificate. So you have to do a lot of research on the documents. Then when you find those names, go on and you try to retrieve the land patent for that particular name, see where it was. If this family member had the records, if they had the records, so on and so forth, you go ahead and you get the copy, the authenticated copy, you order it, and then now you go into court and you make sure that you document, hey, this is my land. And then you take the steps thereafter. So it's so important to do these things because even though you're not aware of it, when you hear this information, you have to take heed. You don't have to believe a person. The person's giving you information on these things. The brother is talking about certain things. I'm saying certain things. Look these things up. Look up what is a land patent. Look up what is a trust. Look up what does a trust do. How does it protect you in the law? Giving you your shield. Because your family is your tribe, right? Your tribe is your family. That they all are in the same ancestry line. So you should have your tribe together and being able to officiate it with your trust and having that being the governance over your family. That's the estate. So go ahead, brother. I wanted to definitely comment on that.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And definitely the shut-ups, because I know some other people might want to get in here. Please understand that when you look at these records, when you research it, I always tell people, if you're going to do this, and I'm sorry for the change on the microphone, I finally came off my little speaker thing. When doing this, you're going to see whether you're going to you're going to have to do your family tree in order to do list, right? Because you have to know everybody, so you can search everybody, so you can get everything that belongs to your family. And there you're going to see many races of people. You're going to see different names. Please understand, once upon a time, for those of us who are indigenous to this land, we were not enslaved. We were hunted. They will not kill people who make them money like that. That's how you know the difference. They made a difference between a slave and the Negro, indigenous individual. They made a big difference between the two. But they killed one and they had the others over here working, making the money to back to give them an economic floor here in this country. Now, for those individuals, you had to get away from the people that were trying to kill you. Once you were down below the 33rd parallel, there were other people trying to kill you. Remember, they lied about the North and the South. That was bullshit. They both were trying to grab you. One for industrialistic slavery, one for barbaric slavery. All right? When they were clipping those folks, we got smart. We understood that there were some people who fuck with us. There were also of a freed or free status, even while others were still being enslaved, and they helped us get to those places. And what they would do, they would get people who officiated marriages to draw up fake marriage papers. Marriage papers still stood as ownership of an individual, which means it was a business. These individuals would use that name to move through the country. So look at those names. Click those names. If you're going to buy a package that's worth it, you need to get the Ancestry all-inclusive package. $69.99 a month for 6 months. You get Ancestry, you get 4-5, which is all the military records that you need to look up your people.
Y'all know I have most of those
It's
records.
going to tell you what plot they
The
had
physical records.
and what military or whatever armed force cemetery it is in the country. What they did, the temperature. It's on there. Also, you're going to get archives.org. That comes along with it. Newspaper articles, handwritten summaries, your population, it's a lot that comes with that. It's a lot that comes with it. You can see your census records from your family. That's how I did a lot of tracing down on my family, because it started to get weird once we got to the motherfucking 1800s.
Yeah.
Then we slid back and went to Ancestry and started pulling up articles that proved exactly where my family from. My family got a write-up about what they did in the 1920s in Bryan, Texas on the internet right now. Found that through through archives.org, my little nephew did. You see what I'm saying? So these tools are very important. I have another one, genealogy.org. For those of you who understand that spitting in a cup is a lie, it's bullshit.
That's right.
The owner told you it's bullshit. Every scientist tells you a novelty item.
That's
so,
right.
Okay, notice, what do now? You get your goddamn ass up, sit down, and do what you did in high school. Pull out a pen, pull out a pad, and get on that damn device, and you're gonna write all of it down as the chain goes, just like a motherfucking NCAA basketball tournament. That's what that tree looks like when you're done. That's exactly what it looks like when you're done, but you're so much more fulfilled. You know where you're from. I know I have Cuban blood in my family, and all of them dark skinned, which made me go ahead and research Cuba and learn that Cuba was never bright skinned in any way until over their own bullshit. They were never, and the majority language before Portuguese was Algonquin and Iroquois. That's what they spoke down there.
Real quick, brother, I want to say something on that, just because so people are aware on what he's saying. At Colombia, right? That was where they first started everything. It was the first Jesuit church. Look up the Jesuits. 1611, they formulated the first church of Jesus, the Jesus Church. They also formulated the Emerald Trade Center there, which is the heart of the earth, which is where all of the finer emeralds are in particular areas. So think about crystals too. may not be on topic for some, but the crystals having the effect of the heart chakra in the emeralds. Emerald City, think about the Wizard of Oz. All of that is telling you the story of everything they did to us, taking our stuff and, putting us into wizardry, sorcery, all of these things. So when it comes to that, them tracing these things back, right? They started the Christianity, which is another part of the aspect of taking over our lands with the church, using that as a weapon. Literally using Jesus as a sword per se. They went through lands and they actually they took people and told them, hey, you don't want these riches and all this beautiful, glorious things you have down here on this earth. You guys can have this in heaven. So just die now and go up to Jesus. And, they persuaded them with Christianity, which was a ruling factor that they used to enslave us mentally. This is why we have to come out of this now. It's so important. And we have to make sure that we're taking back what belongs to us. Go ahead, brother.
Okay, and she's definitely right with that, because the only reason why you're in the predicament that you're in now, they came over here and seen us on the coastlines, beautiful dark ebony skin. They were scared of the thing that was hanging from the man's pelvic bone. They didn't know what it was. They never seen that girth. They never seen that length. They never seen women walk around with such bodies. They look so healthy. We didn't look real to them. That was 1431. Never forget that. 1431. When they came back through that son of a bitch again, 1492, when Columbus sailed the ocean blue, they already knew what they was coming for. For they were looking at grown men, damn near 9 feet tall, with motherfucking emeralds and rubies and diamonds and sapphires in their teeth, dreadlocks, or a conch, which is what the modern day name for a conch is, an afro. They saw those on heads. They saw these people bathe in the water. They lived a natural life. It looked like a motherfucking utopia. Of course, they're coming back to get it at the behest of Pope Nicholas IV. Of course. It's called the motherfucking.
Who is a Jesuit? The Pope is the Jesuit. Just to clarify.
That's right.
That's why I was mentioning that. Yes. Look up Jesuits, guys.
And so, the same people who created the cart before the horse, which means that they created Jesus, the mascot, before they created the intent, which would be Christianity. That would be the Council of Nicaea, the Council of Ephesus, and the Charismatic movement, the Catholics. That's how these individuals lost Second Egypt. That's how they lost it, because the dirty people, the Coptic Egyptian, which was sitting at the top of the social classification, got with those charismatic movement motherfuckers. They overtook, changed the faces on the wall, it changed the motherfucking culture, which then changed their quote-unquote religion or spiritual belief. Now, let's go back to her. When they first put out the doctrine of discovery, they called us what? They called us savages. Put a pin in that word. They said that we were not allowed to be Christians. They said that that's a no-no. They said that they were to come here, investigate this land, and take it over by any means necessary, killing the savages. Second time you'll see that in there. You can read this perfectly. It's called the Doctrine of Discovery, or the Bull and a Katera. You can go look that up right now. All right, so those individuals began their conquest. Who did they sub it out to? Mind you, I'm going to teach you something. The king and the queen are not the highest in the land. He who controls religion controls everything. They got the word. Isabella and Ferdinand did, and they sent out their best motherfucking recon team. It was the Moors, the Black Spaniard Moors. And they got another Black Spaniard who was an excellent detective and an accidental land finder, because America wasn't the first time he did that. His name was Cristoforo Colon. They taught us in school his name was Christopher Columbus, even though Columbus was never a name in the region where he's from, which is why Christopher Columbus does not have a statue in Italy. Cristoforo Colon does, and it has a fro under that hat, and it has a nigga woolly beard on the chin. Yes, the painting of him. Yes, and the painting of him that they painted of him on the ship with the Moors. Yes, where they're ironclad like those niggas from 300 that came with Xerxes, the Persian niggas. They dress like them, but they're dark skinned under their mask. Yes, and Christopher Colombo has dark skin, kind of like Morgan Freeman at his age now, but he has the salt and pepper on his shit on that picture, and that's the only picture. And if you ever went to try to buy that picture, you need $9,700,041. Just like the map of the world and how it really looks, you need $10 million to buy that from the Library of Congress. It's a map from 1532.
All our maps they try to hide.
Can I interject real quick?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am, please.
So, just to kind of speak on the Christopher Columbus, you said I know you said a different name, but that man, quote unquote, discovered America, right? It's funny to me. Just two things I wanted to add to it. One of the things is the navigators who we used were Black people, and I don't think a lot of people understand that or know that, and I think that speaks volumes. The fact that a Black person brought him to the very land that he, quote unquote, and I air quote, discovered, yet, again, who brought him here? The navigators were what? Black. And it's amazing to me because it seems like a lot of people don't understand that, but I think that speaks a lot. For one, it could mean a couple different things, but I'm going to stick with the fact that he had no knowledge of where to go. He needed, other people to navigate for him because he didn't even know.
That's right.
Furthermore, I just also wanted to add, because we've just spoken for whatever the man's name is, I think it's funny how America tried to condition us to think that this man came and discovered America, right? And also, they further did it to the kids, because look, I'm going to bring up Pocahontas for an example, because I used to love Pocahontas. That's one of my favorite movies, right? That whole situation and story was inaccurate. Like, a couple people brought it up to me, and I had to go look up the story. Like, he literally kidnapped that woman and raped her and made her and her family bow down to them. Like, that's crazy how they made it seem one way, and it was a whole different perspective of what actually happened. So it's just those two things involving that man, and I know it's way more deeper than that to other things, but I wanted to bring that up because I think that's crazy.
That's right.
I'm gonna give you two things and I'm gonna relinquish the mic. Number one, in 2015, the governor of Virginia came out and apologized, but in his apology, he let them know that the original Powhatan Indians, which Pocahontas' daddy is Powhatan, the original Powhatan Indian.
That's my ancestry. That's my bloodline. Like truly, traced back to Virginia. Stop playing with me. That's right, brother.
I just seen your elder speaking.
Yes.
You send me your fucking video, I'ma send you a video of your, and she's so beautiful. High red woman with long hair.
Oh yes. I just friended you. I'm definitely gonna message you. I was gonna message you either way, but yeah, definitely, I got you. Yes, much love to you as well.
I want you to understand something. They did not lie. We are not intelligent to catch the drift. Listen, when you get pulled over by a police officer,
boy, don't get into this law. You're gonna make me go crazy today.
And he take you to jail or not, when he goes back to the precinct, he has to account for that time that he spent. So, what does he write out? A discovery. When you get in trouble and you get ready to go to court, you subpoena for a discovery.
That's right,
discovery package. Discover America. He's a mercenary. He's an officer of the law of Ferdinand and Isabella. So his discovery was a landmass called Amaruca. For the Amaru people, which is a collection of people, the Toltec, the Olmec, the Aztec. I am Olmatian. I am from the Z dynasty here in this land. That's where my bloodline come from. How do I know that? I researched that. Number two, there's an Olmec head in Tehuantepec, and it looks just like me. I used to put it up, and people would ask me on this app, man, what app did you use to make yourself into a fucking Olmec head? I said, nigga, that's the Olmec head. That's my big cousin. I used to say that on this app. Yeah. Because I know where my people come from, and it feels good. It feels damn good. So I put emphasis, I insist that you go and learn your family heritage before they burn it down like the movie Fahrenheit 451. Because they took all the regular books out of the schools and replaced them with homosexual manuals so kids learn how to have sex and give a blowjob in pre-K. Apologies, but I'm just telling you that's what they doing. They took you out of school. We was in there learning about us. We just didn't know it. We just didn't know it. When they showed that picture from 1890, I think it was 1897, and it was a feed store in Alabama, or Alabama as it's called now. They were part of the Mississippi civilization, which is the royalty of this land, and they have the only original now with full service circle. That's it. That's all. There's never to ever be any discussion about it. Those people had a sign on the door that said no Indians allowed, and it was a little black boy with red lips. And that little nigga had on overalls and a red button-up shirt walking barefoot. You ain't never seen no goddamn reservationists walk through Alabama. They didn't have many of them before a certain time. They didn't have any at all. It was nothing but nigga farmers. Look up the etome of plantation. Farming.
Oh my.
A place where you instill an enterprise or a corporation.
Brother,
man,
you hitting it. Listen, you should have been on here when we was into them politics. Listen, when you said that, right, I keep telling people that's what it is, the plantation, just the word itself, planting a nation. The same thing they did with the reservations, reserving nations with these people. This is a title that these agents had that came in here that were hired, just like we were talking about earlier, and the immigrants coming in now, they're doing the same thing. It's the same thing. Yes.
That's correct.
Go ahead.
Both of y'all.
$5 Indians threw them on the land to reserve the space and bookmark the space.
That's right, baby. That's right.
Well, think about what you said. Both of you gave context clues in the words you used that let you know who belongs here, because we walk freely and they live on reservations, and I ain't never made a reservation to walk around my goddamn house.
Come on, we roam free around here. All this belongs to us. All of it belongs to us. Who gonna tell us?
And if you ever want to
nation freestanding prior to that.
And if you ever want to know if I'm a liar, please take a break out your life and go to Yellowstone National Park. Or better yet, go to the Grand Canyon so you can learn about the original Egypt.
Talk about it.
The original. Because there is waterlogging in the stones there, unlike over in Egypt.
Yes, all of this area is Egypt. Even the Sphinx, which people don't know. I'm gonna mention this real quick. You can look it up. It was actually moved from Memphis, Tennessee. They physically moved it. I've done multiple builds on it and showed the pictures of them deconstructing it and actually rebuilding it over there in that fake desolate ass land. Like seriously, it's so much fraud that's committed against us. Ridiculous.
They destroyed the throne of Isis. The body of Osiris sat on that throne. She built that throne for her husband. It's Aset's chair. Aset and Isis are the same two names, and Isis was never an Egyptian. That's why we have to do the work. She's a Sumerian pantheon, meaning the god of one of the gods of creation, which means she created the Adam, the Atom, the Adam, man. Because that is exactly what Adamu means, and that story can be seen in that canyon side. It's right inside those tombs. There's 4 doors that sit in that motherfucker. They can take you in there and show that shit, but you gotta pay a lot of money and sign an NDA. Why do I gotta sign an NDA to go in there, cuz? Because there's also Buddhas in the side of that motherfucker.
Oh yeah. Ties us right back to some of the ancestry in Asia. Real quick on that, brother. They hide that. You know why it's so important that they hide that? To not show the nature of the woman and the power of the woman. We were kind of discussing this earlier before you came back in. The woman being like literally the power, the womb literally being the portal to this realm. Like people don't even understand how important that is. So when you look at that story and what you're talking about with Isis, and they try to tie it to this comedic and all this other stuff, they really don't understand the story of like true life, the life giver, the water bearer, the only one that can build that water of life in the womb to create another being to come into this realm. It's so important. So of course they're going to hide that. You know, because now that removes some of the patriarchal rulership that has been put in place that goes over what the law, the spiritual law, the religious law, everything that they try to govern us with. These things are all proposed against us because of that. And we have to be stronger than that, man. Yeah, go ahead.
Merc, I'm a dog. made in ancient Sumerian. We are the people of the water and the land with a hybrid being.
Sorry, guys. No, this is a group chat. My daughter's one of my daughter's room that they invited me to, and I'm sharing it with you guys.
Goddamn lie. We from a landmass called Turtle Island. We surrounded by water. What you mean we can't swim? We built our gardens on the water like our 12-foot ancestors that they burnt up in 2018.
That part.
In Brazil at the Smithsonian.
Let's go, brother. Talk about it.
Yes, they cooked over 80% of our genetics to prove that we were from her. They came from Colombia. They came from Bolivia. They came from the land of the Ricans. We are Ricans. We are all Ricans. I am an American. I am an American. I am from the land of rich soil. That's what American or Amarucan. This is the land of rich soil. That's why the majority of us are the color of the soil. It's a lot of beautiful red bone sisters that match the soil.
Same exact color. We come from it.
Alabama and Mississippi look just like that clay dirt.
Say that again. Hold on. Back it up, brother. Back it up, Master. I don't want to interrupt your flow.
Fuck you mean? It's a lot of sisters out here that's the same color as the sandstone buildings down there in motherfucking South America.
Hold on, I gotta have him go over the
pyramids are older than any other pyramid that sit on the landmass called Africa.
Master, can you please repeat what you said about Amarucan? Please elaborate. Yes,
that's not Amerigo Vespucci. He didn't get a chance to name it. He was dead. He took an L.
Play with
this
it.
was Amaruca beforehand when the Moors were coming here by themselves, and they didn't give us that name. We had that name built from our own phonetics. All of our, if you want to know, put it like this: Anya, Uya, Iya, Isha. Those are from Amaruca. So when you got
that's from Africa. What are you talking about?
No,
that's not from Africa, man.
No, it's not. Lana, please mute your mic.
Oh my, so fucking niggas are racist.
Hang this idiot up, please.
So, I got about. It's all good. Anya, Uya, Iya, Isha. So Taisha, Tanya, Toya, Keisha. You ain't heard no name like that come from the motherfucking water. You didn't hear nobody over there name that until we went over there. They came over here and heard those fucking names. You ain't heard that. Ain't no white man from fucking Sweden named Johnson from back then. You're not gonna find it.
Period.
Their language is way different than ours, so therefore those letters would not blend or names would they blend. It took them forever to learn how to say Keisha. It took them forever to learn how to say Shaquisha, Shaquanda, Shatanya, Latanya, Latoya, Latisha. The white people had a hard time saying that shit in the 80s. That's how I know it's not of their natural phonetics. Before even reading a book. There's too many beautiful women here. That's why men like me are mad, because you mar your faces and you change your hair color and you use their products that have nuclear chemical in them, atomic chemical in them, like face cream and vitalizer, foundation. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Look, I just want to throw it out there. The perm was a big deal. Like, you know, shout out to CJ Madison, right? CJ Madison?
Madam CJ Walker.
Madam Lord help me think. I'm all off. My bad, y'all.
It's okay, baby. Go ahead.
She did her big one, don't get me wrong. But the perm was a big, I want to say negative, but that's what it is. Because it made us think we needed to have our hair straight. It made us think we had to be at a certain type of image or show up as a certain type of image to please these supposed companies, you know, excuse my French, different places and things of that nature. Long story short, it was a horrible, horrible thing. Because what did it do? It poisoned us. It freaking messed up our hair. It gave us, like, you see the commercials? Oh, cancer, and now all of these, like, who was using a perm? The black people, right? So that was, to me, that was an attack on the low. It was showing us one way, like this influence, you know, these images. Oh, you need your hair straightened. You look better with your hair straightened. Oh, don't have these curls in your hair. Oh, don't have these kinks in your hair. You need your hair straightened with this white perm, which has all these nasty chemicals. But now here we are, umpteen years later, and people are learning that those chemicals, not only destroyed their hair, but it not only destroyed the mental, not only did it destroy, you know what I'm saying, like what people were doing in the community to empower and let people know that you're beautiful just the way you are.
That's right.
But look what it's eyes wide closed type shit.
Oh no, it was an attack, baby, right in your face. But that's why they got black women to market it. Just for me, JUSTFORME. Just for me. Got little kids in there, little black girls. That did something to family. That's back when we had
Right.
Edwards and Right
Stop
Ed
lying.
in Texas, real cool.
He
Man, that shit
said
used to
like
be
that.
filled with sisters getting that shit for their kids. You
Right.
did? But see, what they didn't know was at the time they were putting liars a chemical that cannot mix with the protective fluids around your brain. So there were sisters that died, and they cut their skulls open, and it's a bluish green goop in there. Well, that's your cerebral transfer matter. That's a short capacitance fluid. It's to carry the signals from brain sensor to brain sensor. That's why for a lot of women in my neighborhood, how they talk and act now, I remember your mama used to put that creamy crack on your shit when you was little. I know what that did to you. I give you a little more grace. I speak and I keep it moving. Because there's no judging you. You know what I'm saying? I'm respectful of that. Yeah, I'm respectful of that.
My cousin, she's on the just for me perm. Like she's like one of the kids on the picture.
She the one with the blue overalls with the pink shirt with the long boy.
She got a picture again. Because look, here's the thing. This is what's funny to me. Her mom didn't perm her hair. Her mom didn't. Shanice, I'm talking about Shanice, y'all. Her mom didn't perm her hair. She didn't even get her hair permed. She got paid for that. That just goes to show you, like, it just was for sure. If this was for show, I'm talking really fast for no reason. It was just for show to emphasize to give you that image. Like, yeah, this little black girl did it. Why won't you do it for your family? That's crazy.
Dark and lovely. Be the outside soon when black women start taking it in their face. Got on there a couple times because of Tyra Banks and Naomi Campbell. These things, they gotta add, just to prove that I'm solid when I say they put poison in it. Do you know that the original cold cream had the leftover remnants from the atomic agents in the military? They used them to preserve their skin. Yes, it's a whole commercial. And then they had advertisement for STD cures. VD is for everybody. That was back in the motherfucking 50s and 60s. They had shit that they put out that was just for them, but we joined on. Now, Madam C.J. Walker, when she started, it didn't necessarily start with lie. What we used to do, or our women used to do, because one thing, and that's the reason why they changed your image, not so you could look like a white woman, but so you could look like your ancestors. Because when those naked women would walk in the water and that fro got wet and they dipped back up, it was long, beautiful hair just hanging down past their shoulder.
That's right.
See,
like my baby.
And so these people wanted that video back again, but I'm going to show you what else they do. Inside that chemical is something called xenoestrogen. Estrogen times 10. It's a synthetic estrogen. And it's been in everything since the late 70s. PFOAs, PFOSs. They are called xenoestrogens. They enhance estrogen in.
Uh-oh, hold on, guys. I went out the room.
In more masculine women now. Well, it's called tetrazine. They just gave Tyrone B. Hayes, which was the leader of the biological department at UCLA and UC Berkeley. He did a lecture back in the early 2000s on atrazine, tetrazine, using 3 male frogs, 3 female frogs,
right.
And over time, not only did those male frogs start fucking each other.
How many times I told y'all this story?
Ovaries and eggs, and the women frogs lost theirs and started to protrude.
I told y'all this. Corn grits.
Believe it or not, did you know that? Just a little side note, frogs have a clitoris. I did not know that until they told us that, but I get it, which lets me know more of the unity of creation between man and woman.
That's right. What I told y'all came from us. In more ways than one.
How that chemical was used in not only agriculture and growing food, but it was also poured in the soil, in the grass, in many of your areas, which leaked down into potable water, which was water that people were still using to drink from wells back then. So what went from the city flow to the people on the outskirts, and those people endured a different type of punishment. So now you have areas like the Tenderloin, Greenwich Village, Atlanta, Georgia, major places with high homosexuality.
Real quick, brother, on that is the foods, guys, right? I talked about this. I did a build on this before as well when it comes to that professor and his studies. And then they disqualified him after he proved it, which is really crazy. You hired him, but then you disqualify him after. The corn, guys, these things particularly have a high potency of this. The things that a lot of us men of our particular race like to consume, right? Corn and grits are two of the higher things that contain it. Men need to definitely stay away from corn and grits. Go ahead, brother. I want to say that because I know we eat or consume a lot of that.
Definitely the corn.
Yeah, corn, original corn is purple or blue. Maybe even red if it's past its peak season of harvest, but never in history was it ever
You
yellow.
only get it around Halloween
The
time.
man's name was John
Teasing you with
Redcorn
it.
because he produced red corn. He farmed corn. Now, not just that. They went and took broccoli, removed chemical components, and gave you something called cauliflower. They took lettuce and gave you something called kale. Right? They did a lot of things that were fucked up. They made it where it was illegal for you to get real fruits and vegetables. We just now started getting real cassava melons and sourshops in the country. They just
If it don't
brought
start with a
cassava
9,
melons to the
don't eat it.
DFW and sourshops.
If it
and
don't
I'm
start
scared.
with a
I'm
9.
nervous. Hold on real quick.
If your fruits and vegetables do not start with the number 9, guys, it is GMO. Keep that in mind when you're doing your grocery shopping. GMO foods do not start with the number 9. There are 6, I think a 7 and an 8. So if it starts with a 9, then you know that it is organic and it's not chemically treated, and it'll have like original seeds, whatever it is.
Is that the PU number?
Yes, the PUC, I think it is. Yeah, the PU.
Okay.
Yep. Most of the stuff that he's saying, man, it's the brother is hitting on everything. Man, I want to jump in so much. I do like to speak on these topics because he's hitting on so much truth. But I'm just enjoying the conversation because he's just being very clear and precise on a lot of things that you guys need to take notes on if you're not familiar with the information, and do your own research. You don't have to take anybody else's word on things, but when they're being very clear or providing clarification with information, it's a good time to take note and look into these things.
Agreed. Definitely agreed. And I think you mentioned, you said corn, and you mentioned grit. Grits are bad?
Yeah, grits are bad for the reproductive system. That was one of the things when he was talking about the professor that they hired and they did the study, and the frogs were turned from male females to females. That was one of the components. So grits is definitely one of the things that men should not be consuming. Grits and corn. And a lot of these GMOs, period, it actually, it's hard to get away from it unless you're really eliminating all the GMO products, right? Because they all contain these things. And then they're attacking you from the inside out because you go into the store getting your little groceries and you're consistently eating these things every day. And most of the products are GMO. That's why it's important to pay attention to what you're eating. And the meat. Some people aren't even aware that they've been cloning meat for 9-10 years now. You're eating clone meat, the beef. They use meat glue to glue parts of all these different meats together. Even when formulating some of the non-organic meats, it's disgusting. All these chemicals and things that you're consuming, you're not even aware of. You have to be aware of these things so that you're not consistently taking them in.
And it's so important to pay attention to what you eat. Because when I changed the way I eat, I noticed a lot of things that happened, with my body, and it was all for the best. Again, it was easier for me to, kind of process my food, for lack of better words. But yeah, everything, hair, nails, everything just got better. I was able to move way faster. I felt like I probably got to stop. But a lot of the foods were not good for me. That's what I noticed. And you know about that, but yeah, taking that step is important.
Right. And even like with the natural hair, I think a lot of women think too, oh, I put the perm in, my hair's longer. You know, they get the link because it pulls and straightens your hair out. It kills your hair because now it has no life in it. The perm, the chemicals actually takes the life out of your hair. This is why it gets straight like that and just, no life. It can't even elevate. It doesn't even rise up to the sky like it's supposed to. You've taken the life out of it. And when you're not using the chemicals, surprisingly enough, if you take care of your hair, keeping it moist and maintaining it, it's going to grow longer, than a person with the perm because it breaks it off. The hair starts dying, all these different things. So a lot of times people think something is better. It's not necessarily better, if you're not maintaining. The natural hair can be maintained in a way that, you're taking care of it and you don't have a problem. I don't have a problem. I'm natural. Cola's natural. Blue's natural. And the length is definitely not an issue. So you have to just take care of your hair.
I have a question with that though. Do you find it different with different hair textures? Because I hear a lot of women, like, when we talk about how easy it is, like, there's always like a caveat to, like, well, if you have hair like Lalita, of course it's going to be easy. You only have to put water in it. Or, like, certain people say certain things, whatever, because of, like, the texture of hair. Do you feel like that changes anything? Or you feel like anyone can have natural or healthy hair?
Oh, definitely. It's all the components, right? What you're putting inside of yourself, the foods and things that you're partaking in, and the things that you're putting on your hair too. A lot of times you're thinking, oh, this is a moisturizer. You got to look at the ingredients in these things. A lot of these things do not even have a benefit. They're certain chemicals that are going against you. So you might think it's moisturizing your hair. It might be a temporary fix, but it's not really doing anything to the follicles, to the roots, to the area where it's coming in at. Internally, if you're taking like certain vegetables and fruits and things that are moisturizing and they have certain vitamins in them, they're going to make sure that it keeps the moisture there from the beginning where it's growing at from internally inside, on the roots. So it doesn't really matter like where you think, oh, my hair is kinkier or my hair is this way. It's how you're maintaining your hair. Find out what's good for your hair. It's best really not to put anything on it. I'll give you a tip. When you wash your hair or what have you, right? It's best not to put a lot of oil and grease and stuff on it. You can put a little oil on it if it's very dry, but you want to use distilled water. Get distilled water after you've washed your hair. You'll be surprised that once you pour it and rinse it with distilled water, all of the things that are not natural will come off of your hair and the pH balance will be there just from distilled water. Just try it.
The reason I asked also is because, like, a lot of times, I don't know if you've been in other spaces, but people always talk about how, like if it's 4C hair, like, oh, well, your hair's easier to take care of, yours this, mine can't get that long. But I've seen women with that texture of hair have long hair. I'm saying, like, long hair. So, like, I always wonder when people say that or see that or have that, like, if that's, like, the case or if that's actually just, like, because they don't want to take care of it. It's more work. I don't know.
It is.
Not taking care of it all.
Yes, the root, the not taking care of it, not having the vitamins that it needs to grow, in the correct way. So that definitely is a contributor, because it doesn't matter the length of your hair, as long as you're keeping it moist and taking care of it. You're not just letting it fly all over the place. You're maintaining it, like braiding it up at night, putting your little distilled water on it. You can create a tonic, you can use like green tea to like cleanse it if you want to like detoxify your hair, and then put a little bit of baking soda in it. That'll also help with the pH balance. Put that in your water, the distilled water, and it'll do a very good cleansing for it and make it moist. Because it'll correct the pH balance on the outside, especially if you're doing it from the inside.
Interesting. Yeah, take care of that hair and educate yourself on what works for you and your hair too.
Mm-hmm.
Let's always make that conversation. We can go talk about it for a long time about hair. But
I'm sorry, y'all. I had to handle some business.
You said what, Master?
I said, my bad. I had to handle some business real quick. Y'all didn't get off the topic, did you? Move on, did you?
We were just talking about the health of our bodies, and then we had commented and talked about hair and how.
Because I heard y'all on the food tip, and I was gonna tell you, I don't think because you go to the farmers market or you go to Whole Foods or you go to Sprouts that you done fucking came up. Because I'm gonna tell you something. Half the produce is made by prison inmates. Do you know what they have to spray on those fields? Then the other half is by big corporation because Del Monte, Hunt, and other things are still in Whole Foods, Sprouts, and Farmers Market. Unless you're going, oh yes, yes ma'am, Just because it says that, see, think about it like this. So here are terms inside the FDA that we look at wrong. We think plant-based means that it comes from plants. No, because the vegans right now that are motherfucking catching cancer at an all-time rate prove that that's not what they mean. Plant-based food means it comes from a plant. It comes from a factory grown under a certain set of standards. So people are buying this shit and they're like, yeah, I don't eat no meat. Nigga wake up in the morning, got colon cancer. Nigga got all type of cancers fucking around with that shit because Morningstar and many others that make the impossible meat is made from different chemicals. They tell you that it's made from peas, rice, and beans. That's bullshit. Xanthanol 9 is one of them. And there's many other chemicals that shouldn't be in there. If you knew what Xanthanol 9 was, you could find that shit in your Oxy 10. Y'all know what Oxy 10 is if you was born in the 80s or 90s? That's for your fucking face to get rid of pimples. Why is that in your motherfucking, your black rice? Why is it in your goddamn Impossible Burger? Why is that in your Impossible Burrito? You dig what I'm saying? These folks, I could show you a video where you can see Indian people or people from Hindustan, use their toenails to cut beef on the fucking street corner. He just slicing this shit. Like I do no cap.
That's horse, bro. I'm sorry.
Look, the poppy stores where the motherfucking Arabs be back there. How many times do you see them wash their goddamn hands? Come on, man. They don't wash their hands where they come from. Where's the sink? They don't wash their motherfucking hands in there. Fuck you talking about? You can watch. I got a dude that I watch on YouTube. He show you videos of people cooking. You can look at them. They pick up chicken, put the chicken in the pan, and reach in the vegetables and throw it in the pan. That's cross-contamination by any standard, no matter where you leave them. These are the people that control the food in your area. Big headlines from 2011. Lady in Jamaica did a motherfucking, that was 2012, did a video about her rice. She boiled that rice so long and it didn't bust down, but when she squoze it together, it bounced like a magic ball from the 25-cent machine at the grocery store.
I showed that. Yeah.
So that person,
yes, because the Chinese are there now, and these are the masters of chemical and molecular structure reshaping. These individuals will stretch some shit. Watch them niggas make their little old donuts that they make over there. Them niggas are in a factory putting chemicals together, making this gum blob, shifting it through. A lot of them are in there asleep. It's not just for the video. It was somebody capturing the video showing you the lackadaisy way that production rolls in China.
I have a question with that, though. So you feel like they do all of that to the food or the different things that make sense over here, right? But like the food that they eat is not the same because, like, if you look at even like how a lot of
they got higher standards
like that, like what they eat, all the different, fake food, fake this, that kind of thing, or unhealthy food. You feel like that's interesting, or like that's the actual thing? Because like if you look at a lot of people in Asia, like they're small, they're like I'm saying they don't have stomachs like that. They don't have, there's certain things about them where you don't see it as often as you would in America.
Very low wheat grain, no white enrichment. If they use flours, because it's ground down in the flour from its original state, but they use very low wheat enrichment and no bleach. Them niggas use MSG. The majority of the patties or breads that you see either be made from rice or whatever powder they ground it down to make that flour, but they not fucking around like we do over here. The majority of the shit we eat here is banned in more than motherfucking 30 other countries.
That's right. And their standards on the stuff that they fix for their area, they have higher standards. And like you said, they'll send us the stuff that is not worthy. They even China even make the fake eggs. They make fake cabbage. They make all these vegetables out of these chemicals, literally. Vegetables, eggs, all kind of things.
Right.
Like, give me real food.
Oh, go ahead, Chloe.
Oh, you good. I was just saying, give me real food.
One thing, I don't know if y'all ever pay attention to that, but I don't know if you've ever traveled either. But like, if you go to other countries, like they're not as big. You look around and I can walk up my house and see like 5 obese or fat people. I go overseas and you don't see as many just automatically walking past.
I'm sorry.
Right, she got cut off.
What you mean, are you saying like they're not as big, or what do you mean?
You know, America is like the fattest country. Like they call us lazy, all that kind of stuff, but we are also the fattest country in the world. Like we are what we eat, what we produce, things like that. We choose to buy or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like it's making us this way. Like we are choosing to eat it. Yes, I'm saying like when you go to other countries, you do not see it as much as you see it in America.
If you look at a Chinese happy family evening feeding, look at the portions on the plate, but look how they put food on their plate. They don't eat like we eat. It's very small portions on the plate because they understand regulation of the fluids in the body. They understand the whole system of the body. That's why they cure themselves with herbs, but make motherfucking medicines made from gasoline, because the great father of medicine, J.D. Rockefeller, what did he do? He made it where the standard for medication in the Western is from petroleum. He is the king of the petroleum industry. All your gel capsules are made from petroleum. All your hard-based pills are made from petroleum, and your syrup is made from petroleum. So while we was out here drinking drink on ice, we was drinking gas, popping that real petrol. You dig?
That's crazy.
I think it's kind of sad how much I feel like it's like a addiction. Like people trying to have healthy is hard. Like I don't know if people say it, but like, and I've even heard it where people are like, well, I can't afford Trader Joe's or Whole Foods or anything like that. But from what I understand, especially the different things I've looked up, there's plenty of people that don't go to Trader Joe's, Whole Foods, any of those places, and they can still eat healthy. People just say that because they have no knowledge of it.
You can go to Trader Joe's and eat healthy, but like I say, be careful what you buy, just because it says
master, I'm saying opposite. Saying opposite. So like people think Trader Joe's, they think Whole Foods, they think all these different places automatically because they go there, like you said, they think it's gonna be healthy. But people don't realize you can go to your regular grocery store and get healthy food. It's just being knowledgeable of what you're actually getting. A lot of people don't know that. They feel like, oh well, that's the reason why McDonald's, the Burger King. I'm like, no, you can still go to a grocery store and find healthy food that's not a Whole Foods or a Trader Joe's. It doesn't have to be one of those that have healthy food. It's just people are not educated enough to know what to get from a regular grocery store.
That's right. Making sure you're not getting the GMOs and being aware of what's GMO and what's not. Which is still kind of hard.
Buy from like local farmers and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was just gonna say. Global markets are where you need to go. Farmers markets or the global markets if you fucking know what you're doing. So out here in Texas, in the DFW area, I go to Dallas Farmers Market or I go to Weatherford's Farmers Market. Now Dallas Farmers Market is special because there's people from outside regions of Dallas, meaning like Sunnyvale and places like that, right on the outside Waxahachie. They have farms, and they'll drive all the way up to the farmers market Friday through Sunday to sell their produce. And here's a beautiful thing why you should let them stores alone. They don't want to take that shit home. So if you go buy a box of bananas, they'll give you another box just so they ain't got to take it back home. So you got a 2-for-1. I bought bananas, oranges, apples, cabbage, lettuce, all that shit like that, and they jug me, man, for my meat. Pause. I go take a ride out to Weatherford. They have you see the animals in the backyard. You know they country fed, meaning they take corn, grain, and peas and feed those animals. That way they stay healthy with real nutrients that they need. The yield didn't grow big. They grow the perfect timing, meaning they're not growing in a month or a month and a half. It takes them anywhere 6 to 11 months for that motherfucker to be there, be ready for it to come off. And you can watch them kill and chop that son bitch up. Now, let me tell you something. No, we were not supposed to eat what we eat now. Food is a drug. Nutrients are something that can only be prescribed by those around you who grow evenly and clean. Food is not healthy. No food is healthy. Food is governed by the Food and Drug Administration because they're one and the same. Food has chemicals in it. Real nutritional sustenance has none that are outside of your regular chemical and molecular plan. So, if you can, find you an all-natural butcher that has a farm right behind them or around them or somewhere where it stares in the food in the animal come from there, and then find your local farmers market. Like I said, them folks don't want to take that stuff back home. How many of y'all have ever got like 14 fucking stalks of celery for $7? I mean, come on.
50 cents.
I love the farmers market. My mom definitely took us to the farmers market a lot.
Yes, definitely a great place to go when it comes to getting things. One thing I'll suggest though is kind of steering clear of a lot of dead foods, foods that don't have life. The foods that have life actually give you the energy, they're nutritious for you, they're healthier for you. We can actually sustain ourselves from eating, cannibalistic meats and these things that are detrimental to our health, like literally. They cause a lot of cancers and things as well, even if you're getting like organic, grass fed, or, all these different things. Some people are, adaptable to it, and it may be fine for their health, but in general, I think it's best to try to not eat as much dead flesh and try and eat more foods with life.
But now let's wake this up. So so it comes from life, and from the dust you come and to the dust you go. That means inside our body too. So when we eat animal, we gotta cause here's one thing that I study, right? Nobody, I mean very seldomly, I won't say no one, because it depends on where you got it from and what type of food, grain they were eating or grass when it came to the beef. But nobody got motherfucking cancer from meat, really, until they instituted meat glue.
Right.
You can watch a whole video where a nigga made a roast out of scraps of pork and beef. He made a motherfucking roast. He poured the meat glue on it, smushed it together till it was damn near cylindrical and tied it down. After an hour and a half to 2 hours, he had a whole roast.
I was just speaking on that. You're right. Yep. Yeah. Yes, all of that.
We don't play that shit in Texas. Fuck up, play with our brisket down here and see if we don't kill your young. We'll burn your ass out. Man, we gon' get crazy. Man, I'm trying to tell you, brother, they'll take scraps. Think about it. All we looking for is fat content with brisket. We not looking at the membrane to make sure it's real. Those are colored pectin membranes on those fake motherfucking briskets. What is pectin? Not only is it used in making our nails, but it's also the shell to cockroaches. A lot of your fruits have cockroach wax, and a lot of your meat does too. Right on it, motherfucker.
Ugh.
So just understand that in the United States, that for every 2 hot dogs out of 248 is human meat. Understand that when you eat peanut butter, there can be up to 14 roaches crushed into that peanut butter mixture before they have violated industry standards. The fact that that's a standard is appalling. Your peanuts have human hair in the bag with them when you get them in the regular stalk phase. Also, your whipped cream has cocaine in it.
Not cocaine in the cream.
Wait a minute. What?
Right. I'm like, cocaine in the cream? Come on now.
Yeah. Girl, I done made money in rooms off of donations for this information, because then I'll go and prove that shit and show them where motherfuckers be flooding my shit with dollars on Cash App. I'll be like, boy, y'all ass retarded. I'll be like, man, y'all didn't know this, cuz? Y'all didn't know this? Hey, hell no. I say, yeah, nigga, don't you know? Don't you know that I can show you right now that no matter what you do, you can't fight them on putting poison in your body because you bathe in the poison? It's a website I went to. Yeah, it's a website I went to for them. And I turned them on to a website called ewg.org. And then it's a link that says what's in your water. These are industry standard people. They are individuals who go out and test waters. They want to make sure your municipality is straight, or if not, that you're informed about what's in your water. They're environmentalists. So a lot of people didn't know that embalming fluid, or what we call wet, is in the motherfucking water. In many places, 8.2 times per billion. Now that's insane, because the majority of
I'm in a
amount you'll
group with
see
my
for any
daughters.
chemical would
Actually,
be nothing
they
above
invited me to a room.
0.032. These motherfuckers have certain chemicals that cause cancers in the water in certain areas, like Micta Falls out there in
He's talking about a
motherfucking
lot of stuff.
Milwaukee. Man, that shit up to 861 parts per billion. You know how dangerous that is?
That's right. I
You
keep
should
telling
shut
y'all
the
need that
city
H3O.
down. Those are
H3O,
what's
the
that
only
in
water.
motherfucking Michigan that had the water crisis? That's their water.
Mm-hmm.
But it's clear, so it's okay. When you bathe in that shit, hot water open up your pores, so any chemical in that water is going to get in your body.
That's right.
That's why sisters are starting to be seen with saggy skin at the age of 37, because they live in some of the area. When they say harsh water, they don't mean it's going to knock you out. They talking about the content in the water that makes it unpalatable or makes it unusable, non-potable. Yeah. They not dumb. They smart in the motherfucker. They know how to get you. Who gonna walk around this bitch and not take a bath? Nigga, this ain't France. The only people we got here that's nasty like that for real, are the bums. And even they go to Loves and pay $13 to use the shower once a week. It's fucking entertainers. Them niggas stanky. Idris Elba is a nasty motherfucker. He take a bath 2 times a week. Cameron Diaz and fucking what's the bitch from Friends? Them some nasty hoes. They bathe 1 time a week. You come to find out that a lot of your entertainers, they don't. But if you ask a couple of them, they'll tell you because of what's in the water. Now, it's expensive, some of these water filtration systems that we have out here. There's a very inexpensive one. It's 3 tubes and it mounts underneath your sink in the kitchen or wherever in the house. I suggest you use it with the hot water heater. So all water that come in is good. Also, if you need something to drink real quick, there's something called the Coggin water machine.
Colgan.
Bad motherfucker. Makes your reverse osmosis water. Gives you your H3O. We're not supposed to drink H2O. We're supposed to drink H3O. 3 parts hydrogen.
What I just said.
Continues in electrical content.
That's right. Real quick, brother,
Yes,
master. That's collagen. It's the collagen water system. Yes, and you're absolutely right. It cleans and purifies your entire household. They have a system that your shower water, everything is purified.
So, can I also...
But I first heard him. I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I just wanted to say something about the water, but what you was going to say?
Go ahead, baby. Go ahead. Because what I was going to say is just probably going to speak more on what you finna add. Go ahead, sis.
Well, okay. So I ran across something speaking about water. When Left Eye went over to Honduras, right? And she was with her team, and she was talking about the showers and the tubs over there. So they have like the inside, with the minerals and everything of the water that's coming literally, from the ground. And like literally, I can't explain it. Y'all probably know more than me, but like just her explaining how the shower system works, how it gives you all those vitamins and enzymes and open up your pores to cleanse you out. The steam room, those kind of things. It's so important. Like what a difference of a clean shower with clean water would make. You know what I mean? Like instead of the water that we have, because I know it's not 100% good water. Because I can't even drink the water. Like I know a lot of people can, but I can't drink bottled water. Like it doesn't taste right to me. So if we could definitely do like filtered showers or things that you guys mentioned, like about the different ways to take a shower, like definitely I'm gonna hear a little bit more about that. But I just wanted to add that. I thought that was really interesting. I came across that and you guys have mentioned it again.
Yeah, no, that's a fact, sis. That's a big fact. Now I'm gonna show you something, my love. Water is supposed to come through copper tubing. Water is supposed to come through copper tubing and sit in a copper receptacle. And that's because it's supposed to hold this mineral, and it's also supposed to handle vibration. Everything about water is supposed to be harmonious.
That's right.
Water is nanotechnology. Water programs the body. You're built in water. From water, you were first created. You were created in your mother's water, in her stomach. The Stargate, which I wanted to say to the sister earlier, that's where they got the movie Stargate from, because that's what birthed the ability to transfer through different dimensions and land in a certain space in your mother's womb is a stargate.
That's right.
Yes, indeed. And that comes from our culture because that's what an Ankh is. When you put male energy and female energy together, the top that looks like a handheld mirror that represents the stargate, the womb opening up and allowing life through. If you go to Teotihuacan, one of the actual first Ankh mirrors are still down here. I wonder what they were for. But back to the point, they wanted to dull down how we communicate with each other and how we do other things. They brought us down by making us affixed to oxygen and H2O when we're H3O people. If we were drinking H3O,
keep telling y'all that.
than what we
They
are.
gonna argue with me.
We'd be more in
H3O
tune
is
with
fake.
the vibrations on the planet. It's hard to align with the electromagnetic field or the Merkaba.
So sad.
Kaba and Ra, those are magic words. The Merkaba, or the magnetic energy field that's around Mother.
The aura Taurus.
We can't commune like we're supposed to. Right there. Hey man, I come from a family very steeped inside of what they like to call voodoo. You know what I'm saying? Not the one from Africa, but the one that's originally from here that you see our family down there in Louisiana in the Mardi Gras Indians, them boys. They actually do, and our Alabama family out there. Yeah, they still practice the original Amarucan voodoo spells and rituals. Yes, they have been mixed with other places and like Benin and a lot of other places that have voodoo, but the majority of our voodoo here is from Bolivia and other places like that. Also the Rican Islands. These are people who were untouched for quite some time. Even though ships passed through, they didn't know people were there, and the reason why a lot of them got their ass whooped because them spells work.
Them shit's like what they call like the 9 tribes of Judah or something like that. I forgot.
Well, it's supposed to be 13, but fam, let me tell you something. I don't subscribe to that, and it's disrespect to those gentlemen who are a part of the that faction. But that faction wasn't created until 1829, so I had to back up off of them a little bit because what was we doing before then? That's what I was, and I advise you guys to ask people that too. Never stop with the questions. Why is the most powerful letter in the alphabet? Because why is also a word, and that word can change the dynamic of many conversations and understandings. Ask them what and why were we doing before that? What were we doing before the Black Hebrew Israelite nation? What were we doing before Christianity? What were we doing before Catholicism? Well, we were worshiping at Wakanda, which is an actual god here from this landmass. It's from the Dakotas, the Dakota tribe. That's what Wakanda is. It's not in Africa. It's never been in Africa. We don't know this shit about our place. So these are the things that we got to put back on the table again. If you go look that up right now, you'll see that comes from the Dakota and the Lakota tribe. They are the ones that worship the Wakanda spirit. And it's not spelled the way they had it in the movie. In real life, it's spelled with a C. So
That's in Illinois, right? Wakanda's in Illinois. Or Wisconsin, I believe.
That's how far the spiritual practice, spiritual, because I don't want to say religion. That's one of the areas that it practiced too, but don't forget, on that little small part of Illinois, that part right there belonged to the Lakota and Dakota Indians. They could never get them up off that land, man, so they started changing our name. They started changing a lot of people's names in that area. Chicago originally translates into Old Algonquin language, land of the, river of the onion people, or the Onion River. So that's what Chicago is. And if you ever look at Chicago's major river that the boy Toussaint, that he traveled, Mr. World Fur, it's wild onions along that river. The majority of the tribes here were named after things that were found in that area, so they could be recognized when they were seen. The Iroquois people are beautiful. They're dark-skinned, beautiful brown skin. Awesome sisters. Like I was telling y'all earlier, wasn't no perm. They used a hot motherfucking cedar stick because cedar wood has sap, and they would use bird grease to perm their hair. They'd heat that motherfucking cedar stick up, and they put the bird grease on the hair, wrap the hair around, and straighten it out. And now you have a curling iron and a pressing iron. It was so beautiful. They talk about weave. I'm quite honest. Women got that from men. That's what we did when we went to war. When we scout, motherfuckers would put their hair on top of our head. And then we'll come through the reeds and the weeds, and they would think it was their own, and they would expose themselves and be lax. Yet and still, when we came out with our scalped heads on our shit, we would take our hatchet and bury it in their collarbone. And we would take their heads off and take them back home. And then our women, we would do a ceremony. It was all spells. We would do a ceremony, and those women would wear that hair intertwined with their hair. Because those were, yeah, they were the keeper of the magic. That's why I call
That's
them
deep,
always
bro,
on
right
black
there.
women ass.
That's a new one to
I
me,
stay
bro.
on black women. Yes, ma'am. That's why I stay on black women ass. Do you know men are not supposed to be empowered?
Absolutely. Oh, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, that was you. That's why you're being punished.
That's right. Removal of the matriarch to pull in the patriarch. This is so important. This is what changed. We were talking about this before you came in, kind of on what the young lady Kitty's conversation was going into, talking about the men in their place and, you know, them not knowing what they're supposed to be doing and honoring us and, you know, all of these things. I definitely would like to hear your input on that, brother. Let's talk about that a bit, if you don't mind. The matriarchal role and the everything even being in, that's how they took over the land too. Because all of the land would be in the matriarchal name. And so when they came and married them and put them into servitude, slavery, conservatorship, this is just how they came and took our stuff, brother. No, I want you to talk. I'm loving the way you speak it. I talk all the time, brother. I love it. And I love to hear people that are knowledgeable. So please go ahead. I just want to hear your insight on it.
Life has never been patriarchal. First off, the earth has had many names, but her original name is Edonia. Her original colloquial name was Tiamat. When Tiamat blew, it was the shape of a molecule, 3 balls connected together. When it broke, we're on the separation. We're on Edonia. That's Earth. Earth is a woman. Creation is feminine. The energy that sparks the creation is masculine. But creation is feminine because there were women who produced asexual, and there's still 2 tribes of women who exist today that don't need a man to make a motherfucking baby.
Let's go.
All they need
Let's
is
go.
activity in the bartholing gland, and it secretes a fluid. And that fluid, therefore, fertilizes that egg, and that egg grows. Yes.
Yes, brother. Yes, they
earlier.
think that's crazy, brother. They don't understand that. I've talked to people. This might sound crazy. It's not off topic, but I gotta mention it. I've talked to people and use the example of that Jerry Springer show, right? Or the Maury Povich. They be like, "Oh, I tested 13 people. This is everybody I slept with." And some of these people, because they don't know their ancestry or their tribe, may be derived from these tribes, and they are able to produce without a man, and they don't even know it, brother. This is so deep, and our people don't even understand the power and strength that we have. Yes, let's go. Let's go.
So the energy that you get from Pa is not one that you attach to, but learn from. The energy that you get from Ma is one that you learn from and attach to. The maternal energy is that represents growth. The maternal energy coming through the Stargate is one that can bring forth many different entities of existence. That's why you got triplets, quadruplets, quintuplets, sextuplets, septuplets, octuplets. There's no limit. She was given the power to create, and anybody that wants to fight this, they can go study the Dogon tribe. They found a throwback quartzite crystal that was used as a petri dish. Whoever was there, they were obviously all women before the Dogons, and the reason why is because inside of that petri dish were capital X's. There were very few lowercase y's. We are the representative of the retardation of the feminine genetic. The glory.
The mutation.
That's why the woman is 2 capital X's, one for divinity and creation in her build, and divinity in her creation and spirit. But when she took that 2.5 to 2.8 genetic loss to create the protective retardation, which is called man, it created a lowercase y. It was always represented that the woman was first.
That's
the one who created man was a woman. Like I said, Isis created it. She was a Sumerian pantheon. She created the Adamu. The task of recreating man was given to a woman. That's why it was put in her womb. We could always, we just couldn't always make baby as men. That was a power given to us to utilize the energy and make more energy. It's basically giving you guys your own standalone battery, but guaranteed that the quantum need to unify is still there. You are my one. I am your one. We are one whole. No matter how you put us together. The only time we will make anything different is inside of science, where you put one to one together and it makes three. The rebirth, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. The woman being the wisdom, the man being the knowledge, and the baby being the understanding foundation between the two. When the woman was created, the woman was a siren. We are hybrid beings. We are water and land beings. The woman, the mermaid, the mama,
that's why they call her a siren. They say she's a siren. A lot of people don't know that. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. The power was given to them. They were given the spells, and once they taught the spells to the enemy, they were cast down in the water, separated from the half that was on top. We're supposed to work together at the behest of the woman, not the man. Man was created for war and destruction. We create nothing beautiful. There's nothing beautiful.
Talk about it. Talk about it.
Yes, ma'am. No problem.
I apologize. Okay, so a few weeks ago, right, I made a room asking people if they think mermaids were real. And I'm not laughing. I'm laughing, but I'm laughing because, like, a lot of people have different opinions. But what I found to be most interesting is the story I ran across originally. It was a short video of a young man. He was on a boat, and he was hearing something, but he was recording it because he was like, "This is tripping me out." Like, and then he showed us in the water how something was moving really, really fast, and I heard it. I heard noises. Like, I heard, you can call it a siren, but it can be heard on the video. That they said that gentleman disappeared or he died or whatever the case may be. And I thought that was interesting because I do, this world is big. The world is what, 70% of water. And what you just said, it just tripped me out because I'm like, people don't think that's true, but I think it is true, right? And to speak on what you just said, I just think it aligned with exactly that.
Baby, if they ever tell you that again, I want you to tell them to go look up why Lake Lanier is not the spot to go fishing in if you're Caucasian or any other race than black.
That's right.
That lake?
That's not the spot to be. Nor Lake Lejeune, nor do you want to go to South America across any other land that they call Aslan.
So those words, do you believe that though, like on your thoughts? Because I did ask them, like, so what do you think with all your knowledge in reference to that alone? Because I never even, you educated me on that. Like, it just coincides again with that's more than likely very true, that they very much do exist.
Oh, they do for sure. That's why I come at you got to think about it. Hey, remember, the land never broke, it only rolled. The land never separated from each other, it only cracked and water rose. It's called the Etruscan period. Gases mixed, hydrogen mixed with motherfucking oxygen, and you get the water lands that you see. But up underneath there, you'll find more pyramids. The city of Atlantis, the area of Atlantis is still at the bottom coastline of South America, because South America is also Atlantis. The reason why we know this is because of the crystallized borders around them, motherfucker. All your crystals, the majority of the crystals here in America, they come from around the edge line. Yeah, they come from around the edge line. And so, when we go look up these things, in any pyramid that you go to in Mexico and South America, everybody on those walls are dark skinned. Everybody.
That's right.
Go to the Bonham Park murals. They're in Mexico, right? The Bonham Park murals have us on the wall being served by an entity that we call the Caucasian. But look at the skin. Underneath, the skin is brown and blue, meaning we weren't supposed to be out of somewhere. Or we're missing some kind of element. But those ankles on that nigga, before you look at those leather-clad feet, from the leather slips that they wore on their feet, that they had to bow at, all the way to the leopard print robes and garbs and helmets that we wore. La Pantera. We are the royalty. We also left fish markings all over this land. Do you know what it means when you see a double fish? That represents the people who are from the water. There's a reason why our ancestors built mounds in the water. That's how we grew our food. That's how we ate. But we also are a people of seafood. The same way a whale eats krill, we eat crawfish, we eat shrimp, we eat crab, we eat lobster. They're not roach elements. They don't feed off scourge. They feed off what's in the water that makes it a purity. You just gotta clean that motherfucker. That's all. Like anything you eat, you're supposed to clean whatever come off a tree because of the impurities that's in the earth that have collected on this item that had to grow there, obviously, which is more of a 2 to 10 month period for your fruit to grow and actually divine to where you can eat. Right? So it was a time period where we were kept out the water. Look at what happens when a baby's born. He can't even cry until you smack his ass and get that fluid out his lung. Look at it. They forced us to adapt so we could start to lose the power that we were divine with so they could be able to defeat us. Look at men now. The bone density is getting lower and lower. When women start to break the jaw of grown men with one jab, nigga, there's some medical situation going on here that's not being talked about. When men can no longer get it up because their pelvic floors have decreased. Not that the muscle isn't there, but because the space for it to be there has expanded, so the contraction area doesn't work to continue the holding of the erection, the blocking of blood. Something is wrong. These folks know that we love to be in the water, because guess what? When a man get into the right woman and she opens up her
What I told
universe to
y'all,
that nigga, and
they
get wet in
continuously
there,
want to get
we
back
wanna
into
get
the
out of
womb.
there.
Continuously, they
Everything
stay
that we
trying to get in
love
there.
deals with the water.
Come on, y'all. Keep
Why
telling
are
y'all
we
this.
not in there? Because things have changed. We're not, like I said, we're not supposed to be fucking with H2O. We're supposed to be fucking with H3O.
What I
That's
said.
the divinity of woman.
Come on now.
That's our way to connect with her. Don't y'all know if a woman is by water, she's at peace, and she's allowed to activate her creative side,
That's right.
and it flows better when she's at the water?
That's
Do you
right.
not understand? Man, I swear to God, do you not understand that the moon controls a woman as she sleeps and rests the same way as it controls oceans and rivers and tributaries? And without the moon, the woman could not function as well as the water could not stay still.
The moon actually does control those waters, the menstrual cycle and everything revolving around that.
Circadian rhythm.
That's right.
Yes, ma'am.
And this is why they do that change in the seasons, like the hour forward, the hour backwards. That changes the circadian rhythm, and it actually causes people to have heart issues, especially people that have had like surgeries with their heart. And they do that, I think, intentionally, playing or manipulating, people with that. Very serious what you said, brother. And that H2O, H3O is something I talk about so much. People got to understand that people think it's a gimmick. They're like, oh, that's something new. And that came out. How's that something new when it's been here before the time? Like the woman's womb, that is the original waters of life, the H3O. And it's only in certain things. Cucumber, that has H3 on it. H3O on it. I think certain melons as well. I can't think offhand, but there are a list of different things that contain it. And just by eating or consuming these things, you are consuming the waters of life, which is the H3O.
Aloe vera is also another captive substance of H3O. It's the exact consistency of H3O if it still exists. And yes, you are right, my love. You are very much right, because when we go back and we look at what these people have been on, these folks pull all type of slick shit with fruits, vegetables, and all that to deal with the sisters. But without that circadian rhythm, listen, to let you know what she's talking about is correct, when you start removing things and start fucking with the heart, look who the leaders of heart disease and heart attacks is. It's black women. That's why when they say black men are dying more, no, only in certain spaces. When it comes to heart, all women die more. And that's fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Because we operate out of the heart.
I want y'all to read something called the Gay Manifesto. Man, fellas, it ain't nothing against your manhood to read that, because you'll know who your true enemy is, because they trying to kill all women so they can have you to themselves. Don't forget that these are Romans. Don't forget these are Greeks. Don't forget these are ex-Babylonians.
They want our men.
Don't forget that. They want man, and they want to get rid of the women to do it.
And
why?
they
Because
want
know
our
that the women activate warriors.
Yes, they want our men, and they have to have our men feminized to fit into the agenda of this this whole ritual that they practice.
The The woman was always the ruler. I come from a tribe. I come from 4 tribes. I come from the Aniuia Cherokee, Kitowa Cherokee, Blackfoot, and Choctaw, which is Choctaw. All of those are tribes of people that the many tribes inside were ruled by women. No man making no motherfucking decision on life. You've never gave it. How the hell does a man tell a woman about what the way that life dynamics should go and life politics should go when they ain't never made no motherfucking baby, man?
Period.
You ain't never pushed no baby. I think that you ain't never carried it 9 months. You know nothing of the feeling of the gestational period that a woman has when she's building life in her womb, nigga, because you ain't never had it. Can't tell her shit. So why in the fuck you gonna tell her on when to go to war and when to be at peace? You know nothing about it. And for the average nigga, he learned it from a white man, which means you're learning Caligula, Neroin, and motherfucking Caesarian war council strategy. You're not really learning how to sustain life on the planet. You're learning how to be a hoe ass nigga. So when a lot of these niggas be sitting up here complaining to women, talking about how women know, I tell them to shut the fuck up because that lady had an excellent plan. You just didn't like it because there's nowhere for the nigga to fit in. But in real life, your mind's too narrow to figure out where you fit in that.
That part.
Because if we thought with an open space, an open heart, and an open spirit, we can definitely figure out where everybody belongs in everybody's life, because we're all a piece of everybody's life. We're all just grains of sand in the hourglass of time. But us moving as a unit and passing through that septum or that part where it flows through, we're able to keep time and keep score and keep track. The woman will always be the meaning of regality. That will always represent the throne. And until she finally returns to the throne, we will